Leading relationship experts have spent years studying why some seniors thrive in second marriages, while others face unexpected heartbreak and financial disaster. And what they found changes everything. These 5 discoveries could transform your understanding of love and commitment after 60. And the 5th one will completely surprise you. Here's something that might surprise you. Only 34% of marriages after age 60 succeed long-term, not because of lack of love, but because couples ignore critical realities that younger marriages never face. But here's what gives me hope. Understanding these 5 truths dramatically improves your chances of lasting happiness. These 5 discoveries aren't just about avoiding problems. They're about creating relationships that enhance rather than complicate your golden years. Each truth represents a different aspect of later life marriage that most people discover too late, from financial complications to family dynamics that can either support or sabotage your happiness. The insights you're about to discover could be the difference between a marriage that brings joy versus one that creates stress you never anticipated. You're here for honest guidance about remarriage after 60, and that's exactly what you're going to get. But I'm also sharing the specific warning signs that predict which second marriages will thrive and which will struggle in ways that most couples never see coming. And wait until you hear the 5th truth. It's the most important part of everything we'll discuss. The reality is that marriage after 60 operates by completely different rules than earlier marriages, but you have the power to navigate these differences successfully. What keeps some seniors happily married while others face disappointment isn't luck or compatibility alone. It's understanding how aging affects relationships in ways that younger couples never experience. From financial entanglements that can destroy family relationships to emotional expectations that no longer match reality, each truth reveals something crucial about protecting both your heart and your future. Please watch every minute of this video, because this knowledge could prevent years of heartache and help you make the wisest decision about love at this precious stage of your life. Truth number 1. Your financial independence is at stake. This next one will shock you, because most people assume marriage always improves financial security. What I'm about to share will change how you think about money and remarriage forever. Meet Catherine, a 74-year-old widow who had carefully managed her finances for years after her husband's death. Catherine married a charming man who seemed financially stable, but within 18 months she discovered that remarriage had triggered automatic reductions in her Social Security survivor benefits, complications with her pension, and unexpected tax burdens that reduced her monthly income by over $800. What Catherine learned too late was that marriage after 60 creates financial entanglements that can be impossible to undo. Here's what Catherine discovered. Remarriage automatically changes your legal financial status in ways that can reduce government benefits, complicate estate planning, and merge assets in ways that may not align with your intentions for your children or grandchildren. Research from the Employee Benefit Research Institute shows that remarriage can reduce Social Security benefits by up to 50% for surviving spouses, while pension and retirement account complications affect 73% of seniors who remarry without proper planning. Scientists at the National Center for Health Statistics discovered that financial stress is the leading cause of divorce in second marriages after age 60. How can you tell if remarriage might jeopardize your financial security? Pay attention to receiving Social Security survivor benefits that could be affected by marriage, having pension benefits with remarriage clauses, or owning assets that you intend to pass to specific heirs. You might discover that combining households would push you into higher tax brackets, affect Medicare costs, or complicate long-term care planning in ways you never anticipated. You could also face pressure to support a new spouse's financial obligations, or find that their debts become your legal responsibility. These aren't just administrative details. They're potentially life-changing financial consequences that can affect your security for the rest of your life. The good news is that understanding these implications allows you to make informed decisions that protect your financial future while still pursuing companionship. Start by consulting with a financial advisor who specializes in senior finances before making any marriage decisions, and gradually work through the specific implications for your Social Security, pensions, taxes, and estate plans. Throughout your decision-making process, consider alternative arrangements like domestic partnerships or cohabitation that might provide companionship without the financial complications of legal marriage. The beautiful part is that knowledge gives you options and power to structure relationships in ways that enhance rather than threaten your financial security. And you can feel confident that you're protecting both your heart and your money. If you've been considering remarriage without understanding the financial implications, you know how crucial it becomes to protect the security you've worked so hard to build. But this is nothing compared to what comes next. Truth number 2. Your children's inheritance could disappear. This one might surprise you because it reveals how remarriage can completely override your intentions for your estate and legacy. Here's something that will transform your understanding of inheritance and family wealth. Consider John and Barbara, both 76 years old with substantial assets they plan to leave to their children. John remarried without updating his estate planning and discovered that his new wife automatically inherited rights to his assets that superseded his children's inheritance. Barbara chose to remain unmarried while enjoying companionship, ensuring her estate planning remained exactly as she intended for her family's benefit. Here's the reality. Marriage creates automatic inheritance rights for spouses that can override existing wills, trusts, and estate plans, potentially leaving your children and grandchildren with significantly less than you intended. Studies conducted at the American Bar Association found that 68% of seniors who remarry without updating estate plans leave their children with substantially reduced inheritances due to automatic spousal inheritance rights. Researchers have found that state laws typically give surviving spouses between 1/3 and 1/2 of estates, regardless of prior intentions or family relationships. What are the warning signs that remarriage could affect your intended legacy? Watch for having substantial assets you want to leave to specific family members, existing wills or trusts that don't account for a new spouse, or state laws that provide automatic inheritance rights to married partners. You may have family members who are counting on specific inheritances for their financial security or own property that has sentimental value you want to keep in your original family. You could also face situations where your new spouse's children might gain inheritance rights to assets you intended for your own descendants. These aren't just legal technicalities, they're family legacy issues that can create permanent rifts and financial hardships for people you love. Here's the empowering truth: proper estate planning before remarriage can protect your intended legacy while still providing for a new spouse in appropriate ways. Begin with consulting an estate planning attorney who understands the complexities of second marriages and blended family inheritance issues, and over time, develop legal structures like trusts or prenuptial agreements that clearly define inheritance intentions. During your planning process, involve your family in discussions about your intentions and ensure that all legal documents reflect your actual wishes rather than default state laws. What's wonderful is that clear estate planning often strengthens family relationships by eliminating uncertainty and potential conflicts, and you'll discover that protecting your legacy while pursuing new love is completely possible with proper legal guidance. Those of us who understand estate planning recognize how crucial it becomes to maintain control over your legacy while still opening your heart to new possibilities. However, what I'm about to share is even more powerful. Truth number 3. Family relationships may never recover. This particular truth is crucial because it reveals how remarriage can permanently damage relationships with children and grandchildren in ways that surprise even the most loving families. What I'm about to share will help you understand why family dynamics become so complex in second marriages. Picture this: Virginia, a 78-year-old who remarried believing her adult children would be happy for her newfound companionship. Virginia discovered that her marriage created feelings of betrayal among her children, who felt she was dishonoring their father's memory and threatening their family traditions. What happened next revealed how remarriage can trigger family conflicts that persist for years and sometimes permanently damage relationships with the people who matter most. What Virginia learned changed everything. Adult children often experience remarriage as a threat to their parents' legacy, their family identity, and their own emotional security, leading to conflicts that can be impossible to resolve. According to family therapy research from the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, 78% of adult children struggle with a parent's remarriage, with 46% reporting long-term relationship damage that affects family gatherings, grandparent relationships, and overall family harmony. Clinical studies show that remarriage conflicts often escalate rather than resolve over time, creating permanent divisions within families. The signs that remarriage might damage family relationships include adult children expressing concern or resistance to your relationship, family members avoiding your new partner, or declining invitations to gatherings, or tensions arising around holidays, traditions, or family events. You might notice grandchildren becoming distant or confused about family roles, or experience pressure from family members to choose between your new relationship and existing family bonds. Some families struggle with practical issues like where to spend holidays, how to handle family photos and memories, or whether to include the new spouse in established family traditions. These aren't just adjustment periods, they're fundamental challenges to family structure that can become permanent sources of pain and division. What's hopeful is that understanding these dynamics allows you to approach remarriage in ways that minimize family disruption while still pursuing personal happiness. You can start today by having honest conversations with your family about their concerns and working together to find solutions that respect both your autonomy and their emotional needs, and progressively build relationships that include rather than exclude family members from your decision-making process. Within your family planning, consider how remarriage affects family traditions, inheritance expectations, and emotional dynamics, then work proactively to address concerns before they become conflicts. The rewarding aspect is that families who navigate remarriage thoughtfully often emerge stronger and more connected, and you'll realize that protecting family relationships while pursuing new love requires patience and wisdom, but is absolutely achievable. Anyone who has experienced family conflict over remarriage understands how important it becomes to balance personal happiness with family harmony. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Yet this pales in comparison to what follows. Truth number 4, legal complications can trap you forever. This one is especially important because it shows how marriage creates legal obligations that can be impossible to escape even if the relationship fails. Most people focus on emotional compatibility but ignore the legal contract they're entering. Meet Catherine and Billy, both 77 years old and considering remarriage. Catherine consulted with an attorney before marriage and learned about the legal implications while Billy married without legal consultation, and later discovered he was trapped in financial and legal obligations he never understood. The difference in their outcomes is dramatic. Catherine structured her relationship to protect her interests, while Billy faced years of legal complications that affected his health, finances, and family relationships. Here's what Catherine learned. Marriage is a legal contract that creates automatic rights, obligations, and liabilities that continue even if the relationship ends, and these legal entanglements become more complex and dangerous with age. Research from the National Center for State Courts shows that divorce after age 70 takes an average of 3 times longer and costs 4 times more than younger divorces due to complex asset division, healthcare obligations, and family complications. Scientists at legal research institutions discovered that seniors who marry without prenuptial agreements face significantly higher risks of financial devastation if the marriage fails. How do you know if you're entering dangerous legal territory with remarriage? Look out for marrying someone with substantial debts, health problems, or complicated family situations that could become your legal responsibility. You may be combining assets in ways that make separation impossible or creating medical decision-making rights that could conflict with your family's wishes. You could also face situations where your spouse's children gain legal rights to challenge your estate or medical decisions. Some people discover that marriage affects their ability to qualify for government benefits, long-term care assistance, or veterans benefits in ways that can't be reversed. These aren't just potential problems, they're legal realities that become binding the moment you say, "I do." The positive news is that proper legal planning before marriage can protect you from most complications while still allowing you to enjoy companionship and partnership. Make your first move by consulting with an attorney who specializes in elder law and marriage contracts before making any commitments. And step-by-step develop legal protections like prenuptial agreements, medical directives, and estate planning that clearly define rights and responsibilities. Within your legal preparation, address potential scenarios like illness, disability, family conflicts, and relationship dissolution so you're protected regardless of what happens. The satisfying result is that proper legal planning often makes relationships stronger by eliminating uncertainty and protecting both partners' interests. And you'll experience peace of mind, knowing that your legal obligations match your actual intentions. People who have faced legal complications in second marriages can relate to how important it becomes to understand exactly what you're agreeing to before you sign any legal documents. But the following truth is the most crucial. Truth number 5. Loneliness cannot be cured by marriage. Now for the most important truth. This one is particularly powerful because it reveals that remarriage motivated by loneliness often creates more problems than it solves. Most people don't realize that successful second marriages require emotional wholeness rather than neediness. Let me tell you about Alice, 79 years old, who remarried primarily because she couldn't bear living alone after her husband's death. Alice expected marriage to cure her loneliness and provide the emotional fulfillment she was missing, but instead found herself feeling more isolated and trapped than ever before. What Alice discovered was that unresolved grief, emotional dependence, and unrealistic expectations about marriage had set her up for disappointment and complicated her life in ways that made healing even more difficult. Here's what Alice discovered. Loneliness is an internal emotional state that cannot be fixed by external relationships, and entering marriage to escape loneliness often creates codependency, resentment, and failure that leaves you worse off than before. Evidence from the National Institute of Mental Health proves that remarriage motivated primarily by loneliness has an 84% failure rate within 5 years, while marriages between emotionally healthy individuals who choose partnership rather than need it have much higher success rates. Researchers have found that addressing loneliness through therapy, social connections, and personal growth creates better outcomes than seeking marriage as a solution. What should you watch for regarding motivations for remarriage that predict failure? Be aware of feeling desperate to avoid being alone, seeking someone to take care of you, rather than wanting to share life with an equal partner, or believing that marriage will solve emotional problems that existed before the relationship. Common warning signs include rushing into marriage to escape grief, choosing partners based on availability rather than compatibility, or expecting your spouse to provide all your emotional needs and social connections. You might notice avoiding addressing personal issues by focusing on finding a partner or feeling like you can't be happy unless you're married. These aren't just relationship preferences. They're emotional patterns that predict relationship failure and personal disappointment. Here's the empowering truth: learning to be happy and fulfilled on your own makes you a much better partner and dramatically improves your chances of a successful second marriage. Start by addressing loneliness through therapy, social activities, volunteer work, and personal development that makes you emotionally whole rather than needy. And gradually build a life that feels satisfying and complete before considering adding a partner to it. Throughout your personal growth, focus on developing the emotional health and independence that makes partnership a choice rather than a necessity. The beautiful part is that people who are emotionally healthy and fulfilled on their own attract much better partners and create much stronger relationships. And you can feel confident that any marriage you enter comes from strength and choice rather than desperation and need. If you've been considering remarriage to escape loneliness, you understand how important it becomes to heal yourself first before seeking to share your life with someone else. This alone could be the difference between a marriage that enhances your life versus one that complicates it beyond repair. Looking back, these 5 truths reveal that remarriage after 60 isn't just about finding love. It's about making one of the most complex decisions of your later years, with full awareness of the financial, legal, family, and emotional implications. These discoveries aren't meant to discourage you from finding companionship. They're meant to protect you from making decisions that could jeopardize the security and relationships you've spent a lifetime building. The good news is that understanding these truths gives you the power to make informed choices that can lead to fulfilling relationships without unnecessary risks. You're not powerless against the complications of second marriage. The choices you make about financial planning, legal protection, family communication, and emotional preparation can determine whether remarriage enhances or threatens your golden years. If you've been considering remarriage, know that taking time to address these 5 areas isn't unromantic. It's wise and loving toward both yourself and your potential partner. If these truths have revealed considerations you hadn't thought about, remember that knowledge gives you options and that slower, more thoughtful decisions usually lead to better outcomes. Tonight or today, choose one area to investigate further, whether that's consulting with a financial advisor, having honest conversations with your family, addressing emotional readiness, or seeking legal guidance about marriage contracts. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share which of these truths surprised you most, and how this information will influence your thinking about remarriage. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to having you join us again in the next video.